Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. If you're new, my name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Now, tomorrow, the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, he'll be testifying on Monday in this kangaroo court in New York with this wackadoodle judge that sits next to his clerk, like his wife, okay? And Letitia James is accusing Trump of inflating his net worth, blah, blah, blah. We know he's worth billions and billions of dollars. We know how he made his money, real estate, television, et cetera, et cetera. And then over the weekend, someone left a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and they had asked about the millions of dollars that Letitia James is worth, this corrupt attorney general in New York. And to tell you the truth, I never thought about it before. Have you thought about the net worth of Letitia James? It never really occurred to me before. I don't know too much about her other than she's a corrupt public official who is really committing criminal acts. She's brought Don Jr. and Eric Trump on the witness stand this week, President Trump and Ivanka this week. It's really disgusting stuff. So I looked up her net worth, and it's $15 million. And yeah, her net worth is $15 million. It says it right here. And I think, $15 million? What did she do to earn $15 million? And I Googled it, and look at this. I just put in Letitia James net worth, Attorney General of New York. Look at this. I love how they write this. Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, with a net worth of $15 million, stands as a testament to the symbolic relationship between politics and financial acumen. Letitia James earns $4 million annually through lobbying businesses and investments, and she earns $165,000 annually as the Attorney General. Wait a minute. She can't be lobbying while she's Attorney General. I thought 50. And I like how they make it sound like it's a good thing, right? It stands as a testament. To me, it stands as an indictment. So I'm thinking, what? How'd she make her money? So I went to Letitia James's Wikipedia to just find out about her background. And I'm going to go through it with you. And you let me know. If you're watching live, by the way, you're welcome to call in. Anytime I live stream, I take calls live during the stream. My toll-free number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. How did Letitia James build up a net worth of $15 million? I have no idea. Let's go to her Wikipedia and read through it, and maybe we'll find some answers. I've already skimmed it, and it just brought up more questions to me. So if you have any idea where she made her $15 million. So let's go through this. Letitia Ann James, an American lawyer and politician. She is a member of the Democrat Party and the current Attorney General of New York. Having won the 2018 election, James is the first African American and first woman to be elected to the position. And she's probably also the most corrupt. Born and raised in Brooklyn. I'm reading through her Wikipedia here to try to find out how Letitia James amassed a net worth of $15 million, okay? Born and raised in Brooklyn, James graduated from Lehman College in the Bronx before obtaining her degree at Howard University in D.C. She worked as a public defender. Well, she certainly didn't make $15 million working as a public defender. She worked as a public defender, then on staff in the New York State Assembly, so that two public service jobs, right out of college, public service, certainly nothing that pays enough, legitimately, to amass a net worth of $15 million. And later is a New York State Assistant Attorney General in the Brooklyn Regional Office. So that's a third job, public service as well. I'm starting to think she's like Biden, one of these millionaires that just somehow become multi-millionaires, even though they work in public service their whole life. Letitia James served as a member of the New York City Council, the New York City City Council, from 04 to 2013. So that's her next job, public servant, right? She represented the 35th District, which includes the Brooklyn neighborhoods of Clinton Hill, Fort Greene, parts of Crown Heights, Prospect Heights, on and on. She chaired the committees on economic development and sanitation and served on several others. From 2013 to 18, she was the New York City public advocate, making her the first African-American woman to be elected and to hold citywide office in New York City. So far, we're up to 2018, no private sector work. Well, maybe when we get into her family background, maybe she was born into a rich family, like the Kennedys or something, right? We'll find out. Letitia James was briefly a candidate in 2022 in the gubernatorial election, but suspended her campaign in December 2021, opting instead to run for re-election as Attorney General. Okay? Now here we get her early life and education. So her whole career, since she graduated Howard University, was in the public sector. But somehow she's amassed a net worth of $15 million. I don't know how she did it. I just want to, don't you want to know? Maybe we should convene a grand jury that can determine how Letitia James amassed a net worth of $15 million. Letitia was born October 18th, 1958 in Brooklyn. She's one of 8 children. She attended New York City public schools. She was raised in Park Slope in Brooklyn. She attended Fort Hamilton High School, received her bachelor's degree from City University of New York's Lehman College in 81, majored in liberal arts with an emphasis on social work. She received her law degree from Howard University in 87 and was admitted to practice law in New York State in 89. In 2013, she attended Columbia's University School of International and Public Affairs, located in New York City, for a degree and a master's of public administration. She served as a public defender for the legal aid. Okay, so she's got a law degree. She's a public defender working for legal aid. These are like the lowest paid attorneys ever. And I didn't see anything about her being born into some rich family. Did you? She served as a public defender for the Legal Aid Society and established the Urban Network, a coalition of African-American professional organizations aimed at providing scholarships to inner-city youth. She served on Mario Cuomo, that's the father, New York Governor Mario Cuomo's task force on diversity in the judiciary. She served as chief of staff for New York State Assemblyman in the administration of Eliot Spitzer when he was Attorney General. She was appointed the first Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Brooklyn Regional Office in 1999. While working in that position, Letitia James worked in many capacities, but notably focused on consumer complaints involving predatory lending and other unlawful business practices. Still, everything here, public service jobs, nothing that would pay you the kind of money to amass a net worth of $15 million. Does anyone have any idea how she amassed a net worth of $15 million? I'm very curious. I'm curious for 2 reasons. I want to know how she did it so I can do it, right? How many of you would like to be worth $15 million? I would. And I'm also asking the question because I think it's incredibly relevant. Everyone knows how Donald Trump made his money. Real estate, television shows, et cetera, construction, so that's known. How did she earn her money? And if you're hauling in a president of the United States whose path to billionaire status is well known and documented through his incredibly very public life going back half a century, when you are a multimillionaire 15 times over and you've worked for the government your whole life, I think it's fair to say, how'd you get so rich, Letitia? All right, let's see here. From 01 to 2003, Letitia James' first run for the 35th Council District was in November 01. In a close race, she received 42% of the vote on the Working Families Party line, but lost. In July 03, just months before the next election, There was an assassination, oh my goodness, following the death of Davis, who she lost to in that previous race. Oh my goodness. His brother ran for the vacant council seat on the Democrat Party ticket, but on election day, he lost to Letitia in the Working Families Party. In that 03 race, Letitia officially became a member of the Working Families Party. That sounds like some commie group. And was the first citywide office holder to run solely on the Workers' Family Party line. City Council, Letitia James is the first member of the Working Families Party to win office in New York State, and the first third-party member to be elected to City Council since '77. She has since changed back to the Democratic Party. Letitia again won the Working Families and Democrat Party nominations by a large margin over Samuel Eric Blackwell, an urban planner at Long Island University and pro-stadium advocate. She was reelected on the Democrat line on November 8th, 2005 with 88.11% of the vote. Okay, so we're still looking at, does anyone, what do you guys, let me know if you're watching live, let me know in the chat, or if you're not watching live, you can let me know in the comments. This entire career of public service, how do you think Letitia James amassed a net worth of $15 million? Any ideas? Oh, my goodness. All right, let's see here. In October 2006, there was a devastating fire at the Broken Angel House in Clinton Hill. The fire attracted attention from the New York City Department of Buildings, which resulted in citations being issued. Letitia represented Broken Angel's owner Arthur Wood pro bono, so she's doing free legal work in his negotiations to keep his home. Okay, so still can't find anything that led her on the path to multimillionaire status 15 times over. Letitia James was the first to question cost overruns and irregularities in subcontracting work. Bloomberg asking a tech giant for $600 million back, and two consultants fleeing the country in 2011 as a result of that. Letitia James originally advocated for the demolition of the Second Empire houses on Admiral's Row in order to build a parking lot for a proposed supermarket to serve residents in nearby housing developments. This is all when she's doing city council work. She later supported preserving some of the historic housing. In 2008, Letitia James, with de Blasio, advocated against Mayor Bloomberg's attempt to seek a third term. Letitia James won the Democratic primary in September 2009 against her opponents. Okay, it goes on a little bit about them. In May 2013, with a group that included construction unions, community groups, and other elected officials, Letitia James was part of an Article 78 lawsuit against the Bloomberg administration and Acadia Realty Trust seeking to shut down the City Point real estate project. In June 2016, Letitia James attempted to pressure 6 financial institutions, goes through them, into ending its practice of providing financial services to gun manufacturers. That request was denied. These are a list of different committees she was on in the city government. Okay, in 2013, she ran for New York City Public Advocate, received 36% of the vote, under the 40% threshold that would have avoided a runoff. She won the runoff, becoming the party's nominee for the city elected watchdog position in November. Still nothing that would show she's done anything to amass such a large amount of money. But hold on, we'll see. We'll find out. This is her Wikipedia. It's her whole life story. In 2013, in an election for public advocate, she was endorsed by many of the city's important labor unions. It goes through all of them now: Planned Parenthood, Democracy Now!, all the left-wing groups. Okay, in 2017, Letitia James won the Democratic primary for her position with 77% of the vote. In 2018, she planned to run for mayor of New York. She declared her candidacy for attorney general and won the Democratic primary on September 13th, 2018. Okay. On November 6, 2018, she was elected attorney general. She made history by becoming the first woman and first African-American to be elected as attorney general. And this goes through everything she's done as attorney general, and that's it. That's it. Nothing here about business. Nothing here about investments. Nothing here about private law practice. I'm confused, and I don't understand how she became a millionairess 15 times over. Huh? We really do need to have an investigation into finding out how this attorney general got so rich. Now, and I'm serious here. I'm not joking. How do you go from college to a job with the government, work in the government your whole life, right? And she's not married to some rich guy, is she? Didn't see anything there about her being married. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I'm very confused here.
This is hi Brian. This is Sean from Massachusetts.
Sean, how is Letitia James a millionaire 15 times over? I can't. The only other person I know of that's a millionaire many times over who's done nothing but work for the government is Joe Biden.
Well, I was earlier on. I looked into some of this stuff too, and the only one name that I would think about was associated with people like her and Alvin Bragg's is Soros. And I was reading about how he gave her. She received about $40,000 from him in 2021, and it was according to the police, state and federal financial records, and it was made through his Democracy Alliance, and then he donated another, the extended family, and donated another $50,000 through various anonymous accounts. And
well, wait a minute. That Soros money, though, is like to her campaigns. That's not like to her private bank account, right?
Would you think so? I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. That's the question that raises: is where is that money going? How much more money is he giving her?
I mean, does she? I didn't see anything about her being married, so she doesn't have a rich husband. She doesn't come from a rich family. She's done nothing but work for the government. I mean, do you think we need to have a grand jury in New York and look into this?
No. I think we need to do a lot more than that. I mean, with her, if they're gonna play this game with the greatest president of all time, you know what? They gotta do something here, because what they're doing. Their philosophy is the opposite of what America's about. You're guilty until proven innocent. They're doing the exact opposite. And they're going after Donald Trump and his family for nothing. I mean, obviously, we know why this is happening, because he's running and he's leading everybody, including Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other reason why they would be doing this. There's no other reason. They are deathly afraid of him.
Well, listen, is it unfair to ask if she's dirty?
Not at all. I think that's actually not even level. It's not. It's such a balance to say that. I mean, it would be because at the least, because what they've been doing here. We look at corruption that goes deep into the deep state. The deep state, obviously, we know is in every country in the world to one degree or another.
Well, and listen, I'm curious. Listen, I haven't done extensive research on this. I did a little Google searching, and there's nothing that shows anything that she's done. That I know she owns some real estate and things, but how'd she get it, right? How'd she get the money for that? Working for legal aid.
Yeah, she has different Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
she's got different properties. Yeah.
Well, how'd she get the money to get involved in that and maintain it? There's, and it's important to find out, because however she made her money, we need to find out how she made her money and who she made her money with, and do some investigating into what grievances they may have with the great President Trump. There's something wrong here. This is just not, what they always say in Rules for Radicals, the liberal Bible, Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, accuse your opponent of doing what you're doing. And they accuse him of all kinds of funny business for making his money. We've seen Donald Trump make his money our whole lives. Okay? Yep. And Letitia James, there's no car wash like in Breaking Bad. You know what I mean? There's something going on here. There's something just not right about this. Like if she had worked in the private law firms for a few years before she went into government and was a partner with some big New York law firm or something like that, I wouldn't even be doing this stream right now. I'd say, okay, well maybe still something's funny here, but I'm looking at this and I'm sorry, there's something fishy here. It's just odd.
I do agree with. There definitely is something up here, because. Looking at her track record, there's no way she could merit that much wealth with what she was doing in her past. There's no way. No one has. She has to be connected to some special interests. I mean, to people like, the invisible enemy. People like, well, Soros is known, but I mean, other people too. I mean, but we know how corrupt these people all are, and I think that there's a dirty dealing going on behind closed doors, behind the curtain here. But you know what? They're not going to put that out in public record. They're not going to put that on Wikipedia, and
well, maybe
maybe
the Trump family should start asking these questions.
Oh, it would be great. I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen, because I know that Donald Trump is going to go in now with his election, all the stuff about the election. He has all the receipts. He will present that. I mean, why not present any further information?
If Donald Trump and the Trump family and the Trump attorneys who are doing press conferences regularly started just saying in these press conferences, how did Letitia James amass a net worth of $15 million with a life of nothing but public servant work? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I'm curious.
Well, you know what? Alina Habert would be the great one to do that. I mean, the other day she was ripping at Letitia James right out in public, outside the club. She's amazing. Yeah. And I think that someone should put that in her ear to do that, because that would be perfect. Great idea.
Yeah, and what would she say? All right, hey, listen, I appreciate the call.
Take care, Brian. Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, anytime I live stream, guys, you are welcome to call me live on the stream. You don't have to agree with me. If you disagree with me, you're welcome to call in too. The number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. Same number I used during the week, 888-465-2631. And don't forget, get your Mighty MAGA Lion, guys. The Mighty MAGA Lion is available exclusively through me at MightyMAGALion.com. If you're watching live, there's a link pinned in the chat. If you're not watching live, there's a link in the description, or you can just go to the website, MightyMAGALion.com. This is the hottest Christmas gift of the season. It is available exclusively through me, and we had all of these made in advance. They are limited edition. Once they are gone, they are gone. This is not, like a mail drop thing, like you order and then they make it. We made these in advance, so we have a limited number of them, okay? So when you order them, you'll be getting the few that are left. So go to MightyMAGALion.com. This is the only Trump-inspired merchandise, by the way, where he's wearing the MAGA hat. Has 45 on the side. Beautiful line. Very well made. Very well made. Great Christmas gift. And when you go to MightyMAGALion.com, there are discounts if you buy multiple, right? If you buy 2 or 3, there's a discount on them. If you go there, MightyMAGALion.com makes a great Christmas gift. All right, MightyMAGALion.com. Again, a link pinned in the chat if you're watching live, or go to the link in the description, or just go to the website, MightyMAGALion.com. Order yours. You'll be very happy. And once they're gone, guys. That's it. MightyMAGALion.com. Yeah, so if you have any thoughts on how Letitia James made her money, you're certainly welcome to let me know how you actually did it. Now, I'm going to turn this down a little bit because it's so loud. But the White House was, well, really attacked last night. These are the gates of the White House, and of course that's a Palestinian flag there.
Fucking coward!
Wow. Pretty scary, huh? I mean, this looks like Tehran, doesn't it? Not America. I mean, that's just frightening. And yeah, I know. It's pretty scary. And I mean, could you imagine? I mean, this is, well, this is scary, because what's happened here, and I think I'm not the only one. I do believe that was a Palestinian insurrection. Absolutely, it was an attack on our White House. Of course, nothing's going to be done about it because it's okay for the Palestinians to attack the White House. No one should be attacking the White House that way. Antifa, BLM did it together when Trump was in office, and now this, yesterday. You know, what's happened here, and I think that Americans are terrified about this, that obviously Obama in his 8 years, brought God knows how many Middle Eastern Muslims to the United States. And they're here. They have not assimilated to the American way of life, and they've all come out during this war that's going on between Israel and Hamas and the Palestinians. And I myself am terrified by it, because how many are here? How many are here? And they're angry. They're very pissed off at us. And, you know, what's happened in this country, immigration, we're all the children or grandchildren at some point of immigrants. My wife's mother is an immigrant from Canada. My family on my mother's side came here in the late 1800s from Greece. But the difference is when, like, for example, my mother-in-law, who's from Canada, she's lived in the United States since the 70s, and she's a U.S. citizen. If you call her a Canadian, you're going to piss her off. She's an American. And my grandparents and great-grandparents, they were full Americans. And my grandmother, you know, her father was an immigrant from Greece, came here in the 1890s. And my grandmother and her brothers and sisters didn't speak any Greek. And I used to talk to my grandmother about that. And I said, why don't you speak any Greek? And she says, because our dad wanted us to be Americans. And he didn't teach us Greek. He wanted us to speak English and wanted us to be Americans. And that's a thing that's been lost. So now we have these massive waves of immigrants from all over the world, southern border, these Islamic immigrants that attacked the White House over the weekend, and they don't become Americanized. In fact, to say that people should be Americanized has become like a negative thing, like there's something wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being Americanized. You know, the United States is the oldest democracy in the world. Before the United States, every person on the planet was ruled by a king, a queen, an emperor, or a tribal leader, okay, on some island in the Pacific. This is the oldest democracy in the world, the United States. And most democracies around the world, they all have their own constitutions. Most constitutions around the world of democratic, free countries, are based in some part on our Constitution. And if it was not for the American way of life, we would not have civilization as we know it, a free civilization with elected representation running most of the major countries of the world. Not all of them, but most of them. And, you know, this stuff started really back in the 90s when they started doing away with the melting pot idea of the United States. And what it was they started teaching this thing in public school instead of the melting pot, which is what I grew up on, Schoolhouse Rock, the Great American Melting Pot. You guys familiar with that? We all learned that. You know, and, as someone who's a Gen Xer in the 70s, going to school in elementary school in the 70s, I was in kindergarten during the bicentennial in 1976. So there was a whole wave of Americanism and the Great American Melting Pot right after the Vietnam War. So that's a pretty amazing thing. But in the 90s, they started teaching in public school not the melting pot, but this tossed salad theory. And many of you probably are not even familiar with this, but what they started teaching in the 90s was not the melting pot, a tossed salad, that where a big salad, every piece is unique and different, and there's not one. The melting pot is you put everything in the pot of soup or the pot of stew, and we're all the same. We're Americans. And that's something that's been lost. And, you know, people forget Obama became president 15 years ago. That's a long time ago. And what we're seeing on so many levels in our society, in this country, is how destructive the 8 years of Obama truly were. You know, all this weirdness that Libs of TikTok exposes that's going on in classrooms in this country, those teachers that are doing weird things in classrooms are teachers who grew up, were children during the Obama years. These Muslims that attacked our White House over the weekend, these are people that were brought here during the Obama years. That's why Trump put in the Muslim ban, because of this type of activity. You look what's going on at the southern border. Now, I live in South Florida, and this is an incredibly diverse area. You know, in Miami, we have Little Havana, you got Little Haiti, we got all these different areas like you have in some of the big cities up north. But still, you might go to Miami and have some great Cuban food, or go to a Jamaican neighborhood to have some great Jamaican jerked beef. Oh my, have you guys ever had jerk chicken? Oh my goodness, it's delicious. But we're still, Americans, or always have been since I've lived in South Florida almost my entire life. But this wave of immigration we have now, that's not what's happening. And now 15, 20 years into this nonsense of not having immigrants become Americanized, we're seeing it. I want you to think about, what happened at the White House over the weekend. Think about this. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is nuts. Yeah, there's the Palestinian flag and everything going on. Imagine what would happen if we had this population in the country on September 11th. What would the reactions have been to the September 11th terrorist attacks? That the hair, even under my long sleeves, the hair on my arm stands up just thinking about it. What would have the reaction been in the country after 9/11 if we had a population of unassimilated Muslims like this that were, look at this, guys, climbing on the fence of the White House? How'd the Secret Service allow that? They're afraid. They're afraid. The Secret Service are afraid to do what they're supposed to do when you have someone climbing the fence at the White House. What do you think about it? If I got my Trump hat on or my Make America Great Again hat on, and I climbed up on the fence of the White House over the weekend, what would have happened to me? Is this guy even arrested? He's got his Yasser Arafat thing going on in his head. Was this guy even arrested? Right? We've got a problem in this country. And when President Trump comes back in his second term, he's not going to be able to take care of everything. He's only got one term left. He's got a lot to do. He's got to drain the swamp. He's got to shut down the Washington Bureau of the FBI. He's got a lot of swamp draining to do. He's got to stop these wars that Biden has going on so that the military-industrial complex can make their money. So he's not going to be able to do everything in 4 years. Whoever he picks as his vice president, this is going to have to be a special person, because this is the most important vice presidential pick and attorney general pick and Homeland Security pick in the history of the presidential cabinets. Because this country, we're losing it. We're losing it. I mean, look at this. This looks like the U.S. Embassy in Tehran in 1979. This is our White House over the weekend. I mean, my God. Doesn't that scare you? It should. It scares me. It scares me. If you're new to my channel, guys, please subscribe. You'll love my content here. I live stream 7 days a week. During the week, I'm on the radio, and I'm live streaming when I'm on the radio. I also upload my podcast here. And on the weekends, I live stream as well, like I'm doing now, talking about things that happened. And I felt an urge to live stream today. I wasn't going to. And this thing of Letitia James being worth $15 million when she's done nothing her entire life since graduating Howard University Law School, of working for the government, being a public servant, that's been on my mind all weekend. And it just bugs me because, and I know people say, well, everybody in the government's corrupt. No, she has the greatest president ever in front of this ridiculous trial with this goofy judge who's got some weird thing going on with his lady clerk, questioning how he made his money, questioning his net worth, questioning how he earned his, and somehow she, now listen, it's very possible she amassed a net worth of $15 million completely legitimately. I don't know. I think it's a little odd, okay? Something's off here, but I think she should explain how she made her $15 million. Don't you? If Letitia James has the entire Trump family in a courtroom on the witness stand. My goodness, we're going to have a president of the United States on the witness stand this week. We're going to have a first daughter of the United States on a witness stand. Do you see them hauling Chelsea Clinton to explain how she bought her $10 million mansion with all that Clinton Foundation corrupt money? Everyone knows that the Clintons made all their millions that Chelsea and the Clintons live off today through selling of favors from her as a senator and a Secretary of State through the Clinton Foundation. The Clinton Foundation was a money laundering racket for the Clintons. Are they being hauled into court? No, they're not. It's only Donald Trump, right? And, I mean, look at this. Here's more. It's just nonstop.
No, they roll.
I mean, look at this. I mean, this is before they stormed the White House. And, you know, you see these Palestinian flags, these Hamas flags everywhere. You know, I'm sorry. Questions got to be asked. Questions got to be asked. Here's more video at our White House from another angle. You know, another Palestinian flag. And these are pissed off people yelling. I mean, this guy, they're sticking things through the fence at the White House. Now, could you imagine? Look at this guy. Look at this. Could you imagine if you or me went to the White House and we had a MAGA flag on a pole, and we climbed the fence like that, and we're waving a MAGA flag over the? We're on the White House fence, and look at this guy. That's uniformed Secret Service. He's calling somebody on his cell phone, cowering away. What would happen if you climbed that fence at the White House, hung your MAGA flag over it? You know what would happen. You wouldn't be in a jail cell because you wouldn't make it to the jail cell, okay? You wouldn't. But that's what happened over the weekend. And, you know, the thing is with the left, is they think that these things are justified for some reason. Now, the great Alan Dershowitz, who's an advisor to President Trump, he said some things over the weekend. And this is an article about Alan Dershowitz, and that's a picture of look at this, pro-Palestinian protesters in that picture. Can you imagine? How many are here? So listen to this. Alan Dershowitz wrote this article for the Daily Mail. The Democratic Party now faces a choice. This is Alan Dershowitz's article in the Daily Mail. The Hamas atrocities of October 7th have forever fractured any political alliance between centrist and liberal Jews and woke anti-Israel progressives. The coalition is at civil war. Following the terrorist massacre of Israeli civilians, and even before the military response, young woke progressives turned against the Jewish state. It was a knee-jerk reaction stimulated not by what Israel did, but it had done nothing to justify Hamas's brutality. But what Israel is, the nation state of the Jewish people. In New York City, so he goes on, but what he's really saying here, I'll just read the headline. The great betrayal tearing down the Democrats to shreds. Dershowitz says vile leftist anti-Israeli hate will turn millions of American Jews from blue to red. So, you know, American Jews typically vote Democrat. There's typically a divide in the Jewish community. We see it a lot here in Florida because we've got a large Jewish population. There are two different factions of Jews, okay? You've got Reform Jews who may go to temple and things, but they're not really that religious, and they're liberal Democrats. And then you have Orthodox Jews, and Orthodox Jews tend to be conservative, tend to be Republican. But Orthodox Jews are a minority inside the Jewish community. Most Jews are Reform Jews, okay? And what Alan Dershowitz is saying, that lifelong American Jews who are Democrat are going to vote Republican for the first time ever because of what's happening in Israel. You know, I don't have to tell you, you follow the news, that October 7th attack was the largest loss of Jewish life in a single day since the Holocaust. And Israel's been at war how many times since 1948? Think about that. And you see these people taking to the White House and taking to the streets in the last month, and they never condemn the murders that took place And, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, they have a YouTube channel, and they post up there quite regularly. And you should really check it out. You should check it out. And there was one video I watched, which I'll never watch again. It was the IDF's video showing going into the homes. They showed body cameras from first responders that went into the homes where the people were murdered. I mean, it was just civilians. They go into a house out in the front yard. It's loaded with bicycles because the kids are home. And then, sadly, what happens inside happened. And I know, you can't even think about it. But where is the condemning of that with these people climbing the fences at the White House? You don't see any of that. And you know what? You're not going to. You're not going to. And, there are not two sides to every argument. A lot of people will say that. There's no two sides to this. Going in like they did, killing civilians, women, children, men, and old ladies, raping women, killing them, kidnapping them. There's no two sides to that. There's only one side, the side of what's right and what's wrong, and they're on the wrong side. And that's that, and you got Talib and these others that won't condemn it. Are you kidding me? Now, don't forget, guys, go to MightyMagaLion.com. Order your Mighty Maga line, available exclusively through me. If you order now, it will go out this week. You'll have it well in time for Christmas. And as I said, I had all these made in advance. So once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, this is not drop shipping. They've all been made in advance. There's a limited number. You go to MightyMagaLion.com and order yours. They make a great Christmas gift. They come in a nice box, by the way, that my wife and I send the Mighty Maga Lion to you in, that you can wrap and put under the tree if you want. And I know, pretty cute. And I've heard from so many of you that have ordered your Mighty Maga Lions, and cute and cuddly, just like President Trump. And again, this is the only Trump-inspired merchandise, see 45 on the side, the only Trump-inspired merchandise that actually comes with the MAGA hat. And if you order more than one, you get a discount. If you order two, if you order three, you get a discount if you order multiple Mighty Maga Lions. If you're watching live, there's a link pinned in the chat. If you're not watching live, there's a link in the description of the video, or you can just go to the website, MightyMagaLion.com. MightyMagaLion.com, and order yours. And also, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And everyone watching, please like the video. That helps spread the word about my channel to people that have not yet found me. When you like the video, that helps. If you think you're subscribed, please go and check and make sure you are. A lot of times, people think they're subscribed and they're not because you watch my content regularly. So my videos get recommended to you, but you may not be subscribed. So go and check and make sure you're subscribed if you don't mind. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you next time.